Sound rolling.
Camera one,
Rolling.
camera two, rolling.
My name is Chris Lane. I'm France V. Scholes Chair in Colonial Latin American History in the History Department. And my field is Colonial Latin America. I work on the history of mining most of the time, the history of piracy also. I teach a course called The History of Piracy in the Americas, which is popular with undergrads across campus because it's a topic that doesn't need to be advertised. And I also teach a course on colonial Latin America, a survey course, Introduction to Colonial Latin America. I teach a course on environmental history of Latin America. That's something I've developed lately and I'm very excited about, and I'm learning more and more all the time. I teach graduate students. I have a number of graduate students working with me. I have several PhD advisees, almost all of them working on colonial South America. And as it happens, almost all of them are from South America. But that's my general range. I came to Tulane in 2011, and I had been teaching at the College of William and Mary in Virginia for 14 years. I taught for 1 year before that at the University of Miami in Florida. And I applied for a position here thinking that it would probably not be mine. I was expecting a rejection letter, but I really wanted to bring my range in colonial Andean history to Tulane, a place that had always been very strong in Mesoamerican history. And so that was the pitch I made. And I managed to get hired. And so I've been here now 13 years. This is year 13, and it's been fantastic. I really was drawn here in part because of the very large Latin Americanist community, but also the prospect of working with graduate students who I knew would be diverse, would come from many different places. I had a chance to work with graduate students at William and Mary, but they were working on US history. And that was a place that was very focused on colonial America, early America as they call it now. And as much as I liked that, I was always the outsider. I was always kind of opening people's eyes to another America that was much older and larger than the one that they talked about. When I came here, it was the opposite. I was suddenly surrounded by people who knew all of that, and I didn't have to convince them or my students or anyone else. So the camaraderie of working with lots of other Latin Americanists, not just in history, but in anthropology, in art history, in sociology, in political science, and all of the folks working here in different fields just really enriches my work and makes me feel much more productive, ultimately. How has the Stone Center impacted my career development? It has been foundational, just the ability to bring my work to people here on campus and present it in different venues, and then go and do the same for them, and to be part of people's work that is really, really different from mine. You know, for me to go to a talk on malaria or Chagas disease is far outside my research area, but these are things that I've been interested in since I first visited Latin America as a teenager. And so even though I work on colonial history, contemporary concerns are very much of importance to me, and Tulane is just constantly moving in that way, and the Stone Center makes that happen. What stands out in my interaction with the Stone Center over the last 13 years or so? I could point to a dozen instances that I thought, wow, that was really something, and probably couldn't be repeated. But one that stands out is a conference that I organized a couple of years ago here, and it was centered on the Amazon. The idea was to just bring everybody on campus who was interested in talking about the Amazon, whether they were working on it directly or they had some indirect connection to it, but to kind of see what resources we have just on campus among graduate students and faculty to address some of the really pressing problems that we're facing in terms of global climate, but from a Latin American perspective, focusing on the elephant in the room, which is the Amazon. And that it just showed me that we have this incredible pool of brain power and so many different perspectives that, that we need to keep doing that. We need to keep drawing from that and building it. But for me, that's only possible here. I haven't been anyplace else where I could draw on a dozen people who know something really important about Amazon studies today. They're here. What one word describes the legacy of the Stone Center to me? Unique. It's unique. There's no place like it. There will never be another place like it. The battery died or anything, just let me know.